Hey there, toy collector friends and Star Trek fans alike. Welcome back to the channel. I'm the time-traveling toy collector, and this is the SS Enterprise NX-01 refit as it appeared in, the Star Trek universe. It was made canon in the recent Picard series. It's produced by Eaglemoss and Hero Collector, now deceased as a company, of course, but this was one of those rather tricky to get hold of in the end game, because of course they went unfortunately out of business, but now there are several organizations that are bringing much of their creations to the market through legitimate means and at legitimate prices, I'm very pleased to say. I got this from an organization called Master Replicas. You'll be able to find them on Twitter. They also have their own website, and they do routine drops of Eaglemoss Hero Collector stuff, predominantly Star Trek, but not solely. And this was one of those ships that it never was, to my knowledge, it was never available as an XL. But this is, if you like, the sort of the default standard for those sort of Discovery Picard ships. That sort of size range. So it's bigger than the sort of the small regular editions. It's sort of special edition size. It's not quite XL. I mean, it's not so small that it won't stack up, because again, the NX-01 was not a massive ship compared to some of the others, so I'm quite content with it. And given that it wasn't ever produced in any other format, I kind of have to be. So I will get it up in hand in a moment. I do have to say, of course, because of this being purchased as bulk stock by Master Replica, probably in the shape of various containers full of stock that was being transported from China, etc. There is no magazine, so there's no background information that we can look at. It is literally what we get here is the ship in the box, but the saving grace is it is a beautiful ship. So I'm just going to sort of push it back a little bit so that I can get it up in hand. It is the refit of the Enterprise, which means unlike its rocket ship-esque original variation, it does have the one thing that the original NX Enterprise didn't have: a secondary hull. And we'll take a look at it in hand in a moment. It does, of course, like all Hero Collector and Eaglemoss ships, it comes with a nice little cradle. This was particularly nice in terms of it's very easy to fit, which of course is always a winner for me. So let's take a look at the saucer section first of all. Excuse me. Well, as a saucer section, it's extremely well detailed. Let me bring it round this way. You can see an awful lot on there. Yes, there is some of them know what Hero Collector and Eaglemoss are notorious for in terms of some of that detailing. The registration there is the NX-01. You can see that USS Enterprise. We can also see that primary deflector there. Can't see the grabbers, which is a shame. The grappler, whatever it's called. But the detailing around the saucer section is absolutely lovely. It's absolutely lovely, and you can see the bridge section there. There's some indents. You might just be able to see them. I'll see if I can show you them here. There's some indents there on the bridge section that haven't been painted. Now, I know that there's an awful lot of discussion with usually in the comments by people on numerous reviewers' videos, where there's some issue taken with the accuracy of Eaglemoss and Hero Collector's paint applications. Interestingly, these just don't seem to have been applied at all. Now that might be to do with the circumstances. or it might just have been a design decision, but they've just been left as those indentations. And you know what? It doesn't really cause me any problems. There's a few around that saucer section actually, where you think, oh, I wonder if they meant to put some additional detailing on there, but they haven't. And actually, I don't mind, because I'd rather have it looking like this, which is very functional, than having them do it slightly wrong, especially given that it's sort of, if you like, their swan song range of ships, because there's no second chances. So I really love the detailing there across the whole of that. Now let's move on to the nacelles. So you can see they're slightly updated, and you can see that secondary hull there that's been lowered down from where it used to be originally, just extending from here. Some of the design features are the same, but we can see that the nacelles also, let me just grab my pointeroo, we have the transparent plastic in here along the side of the nacelle, which you'll probably see a bit better if I put it directly under the light there. There you go. You can see that there a bit more clearly. But we also have the extension there to the bussard collector. So we've got those little prongs sticking out from the front of the bussard collectors, which would be carried over to the original USS Enterprise model before being dropped a little later. So that's the upper side. Let's swoosh around, and here is the underside, where we now have, again, the usual level of attention to detail in terms of the sculpting around that saucer section, which is absolutely lovely. I mean, it really is. And then lo and behold, here we have the secondary hull. And actually, if I put the whole thing upside down, which I wouldn't normally do, it looks like a whole new starship if I do that. Imagine if that was how you designed a starship. Just turn it upside down, call it something else. No, they'd never do that. But you can really see that secondary hull, that's the fledgling design, or what would become the design for the Constitution class proper, and so many other ships. And you can see that deflector dish there, looking much more like the deflector dishes that we're accustomed to. And there is that sort of nice underside where it's conjoined through, which is a little bit reminiscent now, ironically, of the USS Enterprise G, which is sort of making its appearances at the back end of Picard. Spoiler alert, apologies if you've not seen it yet, you probably have, it's been out quite a while. So I really like that, the design of that, and the look of that, and it does make for a very nice, dynamically posable and photographable model ship. Again, it's not super weighty. Remember, this isn't the XL range, so we're already dealing with the fact that it's not the XL range. Have we seen it from the back? I don't think I showed it very well from the back. So we can also see here the remainder of the engine array and that secondary hull. And you can, as I said before, you can see where there are design similarities with the original NX Starship Enterprise that have been carried through into this. So they've not sacrificed that design aesthetic for the sake of moving it forwards enough to be the forebear of the Constitution class Enterprise that we know and love. And I think that was a very sensible and still interesting design choice. I really do. So I'm really glad that I was able to get this from where did I get it from? From Master Replicas. Very reasonably priced, I must say, compared to what I dare say some people will be selling them for online. If you're not currently following Master Replicas, please do, because if you want to add these ships to your collection, that really is one of the few ways you can do that safely and securely and at a reasonable price. They're also doing that wonderful thing where they are monitoring and limiting the number of items people can purchase. So that for me is also a very, very positive thing. So I would urge you to seek them out and engage with them if you are looking to continue with your collection. Hopefully this has given you some idea of what this ship looks like and how it feels. As I say, it's not very heavy. I can't really feel much in the way of die cast in there. I think it's mostly plastic. I think there is some mix into the saucer section. But again, it's a display model. It's not a toy. So please do, if you do pick this up, have the right expectations. It is for display purposes. It's not for play, or certainly not robust play. You could use it for photography, and I will endeavour to do a couple of shots for the end of this video. But yeah, it isn't a toy. It is a collectible in the truest sense. So bear that in mind. But that said, it can hold its own. It will hold its own against my XL collection, because again, the NX-01 was a smaller ship anyway, so it doesn't cause me any concerns. Would I like to see it in the XL range? Yes, of course, and maybe one day, if somebody picks up the license for these, we will see that. We will see an XL NX-01 refit in the XL class. There's a few I'd love to see. I'd love to see the future Stargazer, you know, the Stargazer from Picard. Now that we've got the classic Stargazer, you know, I mean, I could list off a few other ships that I would really love to see joining the ranks. But that's for the future. I'm currently grateful for to be able to get what we can get, and I'm delighted to add the NX-01 refit SS Enterprise to my collection. Do you think it warrants a slot on your shelf? Well, if you do, I'm really glad that this video has been instrumental in helping you make that decision. If you've decided against it, same answer, because it you know, however much you end up not paying for it, it's a considered purchase potentially. So either way, I want this video to be useful for you. If that has been the case, please do like the video, and whilst you're there, also subscribe. I know it's a small click for you, but it is a huge step forwards for me and the channel. So again, there's no contractual requirement to watch every video. You can just watch the ones that appeal, but at least you'll never miss one. You can always then make that choice yourself. Thank you for spending the last quarter of an hour with me. I appreciate there's other things you could be doing, and hopefully you've still got time to go and do it. If you've got another 5 or 10 minutes on your hands, have a shifty around the channel. There might be something else that you like. You've been a fantastic audience. I've been the time traveling toy collector, and this has been the SS Enterprise NX-01 refit, produced by Eaglemoss and Hero Collector and released through Master Replica here in the UK. And this is the time traveling toy collector saying I look forward to seeing you in a future video, one to beam up, and remember that a thing of beauty really is a toy forever. Take care. Bye bye for now.